Everyone has seen this painting. Okay, so this is a painting that was in Jeffrey Epstein's $70 million apartment. It's on sale right now for $70 million in Manhattan. Common misconception with this painting is that Bill Clinton is wearing Hillary Clinton's dress from some event. Not accurate. He's wearing Monica Lewinsky's dress that he jizzed on, and she kept saying that was that's how he got caught, right? So this painting obviously is indicating that Jeffrey Epstein has compromising information on Bill Clinton. Yesterday, a picture of Bill Clinton getting massage from one of the victims came out. That said, what I found out about today is that there was another painting in there. I cannot believe I never knew this, but it's this. George Bush with two knocked down Jenga buildings.
And two planes.
And two paper airplanes. How crazy is that? And that was in Epstein's house.
What's that? Oh, a former Bush official came out saying that they built an underground city secretly for $21 trillion. What's that? Oh, a former Bush official came out saying that they built an underground city secretly for $21 trillion. Okay. Yeah, her name is Catherine Austin Fitz. Now, she says that it's not just your regular tunnel with a bunch of concrete and it's just kind of plain Jane. No, she said this is a luxury city built under the United States. Okay. She said that these cities even go out under the ocean. Okay. She said that this was built specifically for the rich in case there was an extinction event for humankind. Which leads us to believe that they know something that we don't. She stated that the transportation down there is way more advanced than the transportation we have up here. Oh boy. She said that it has everything we have up here, but it's way nicer. And they even have schools, hospitals, and jails.
Now we're going to go back in time and I'm going to ask you who you think did each of these huge events, okay? The killing of MLK Jr.
It was a CIA operation because they consider him a dangerous communist. And the FBI was bugging in churches where he was giving some of his speeches in churches. They were bugging the podiums and following him around. He was a top target for elimination.
JFK.
I think that was a CIA hit. They may have employed some mafia connections to carry it out because that was their mafia assassination.
Exactly. LBJ was very involved in all that in Dallas. And so
he was an evil man.
He was an evil man. Okay, what about Pearl Harbor?
They knew the attack was coming. They knew where it was going to happen in Pearl Harbor and when. And they told no one, and they let it happen on purpose. That's from the commander of the Pacific Fleet. I would say that's a pretty credible witness. So yeah, that was a false flag.
They admitted that. They admitted they heard it was going to happen, and how else were you going to get Americans to be on the side of this war that had nothing to do with us? Which brings us to 9/11. Your opinion?
My opinion, as a criminal investigator, as a former CIA officer, 9/11 was not the act of a bunch of poorly flight-trained terrorists that executed an unbelievably meticulous piloting of those aircraft. Even pilots, there's pilots for 9/11 Truth now, and they say we could not have done that, not possible. And then we go to the passport issue, and we go to the Tower 7, which was a controlled demolition. You talk to any structural engineer, and I have. And the fact, I think George W. Bush blacked out, I think it was 40 pages of the 9/11 report dealing with Saudi Arabia. So what? Wait a minute, this report was supposed to be for the American people on what happened, and you blacked all these pages out? What in the world? I do not think that it was a bunch of poorly trained or untrained terrorists that did it. I think there was another source behind it. I think it was intentional, and I'm going just from a criminal investigative perspective, just looking at the evidence, what evidence we have, that was an intentional act. And it would fall right into the MO that you and I are talking about. Horrible event, because human life does not matter to the shadow government deep state, especially the CIA. It does not matter. They're pawns on their chessboard. They don't care that 3,000 people were horribly killed that day, but it achieved the aim of gutting the U.S. Constitution, bringing in the horrific Patriot Act, giving the CIA unthinkable authority for secret prisons and torture beyond waterboard and secret renditions of all of that. The FBI, the ability to spy on Americans, came out of the Patriot Act. So it was the perfect national security state energizer that the Patriot Act was. And 70 of the congressmen and senators that read the Patriot Act didn't even read it. They just signed off on it without even reading the bill. So, yeah, I mean, that's my view.
How could Muhammad
feet of debris and end up in readable condition in the hands of investigators, all within 48 hours. Why did 19 Muslim men even need passports on domestic flights? How were passports found but not the plane's voice recorders? Why did the hijackers need passports they would never use again after their suicide flights? And why were the 19 accused Muslims not under surveillance on 911 if they were so easy to identify? The conspicuous trail of planted evidence continued 3 weeks after the 911 attacks, when anthrax letters killed 5 people and were clearly worded to throw the blame on Muslims. Death to America, death to Israel, Allah is great. It has since been proven that the anthrax came from a U.S. Army lab and was never mailed by Muslims. There are no airport security videos of any of the 19 accused Muslims boarding any of the hijacked planes.
Trump didn't survive an assassination attempt. He survived a publicity stunt, and I can prove it. He said a bullet went through his ear. Let's be clear, a 5.56 NATO round fired from 130 yards away travels at 3,000 feet per second. That would shred flesh, fracture bone, and leave a crater. But there's no hole, no swelling, no bandage, just a light scratch. Just ask any trauma doctor. This isn't survivable without real damage. The shooter was 130 yards away, and for that rifle, that's the perfect range. U.S. Army standards expect near pinpoint accuracy from 300 yards away. He had elevation, line of sight, and time, and yet only one fatality, 1 ear graze, and no Secret Service reaction for 5 full seconds. This wasn't a failed assassination. This was a successful setup. Trump didn't duck, he didn't run. Instead, he faced the camera, raised his fist, and yelled fight like he was on WrestleMania. That's not instinct, that's direction. Real assassination attempts create chaos. You can watch Reagan's, Ford's, or even JFK's. Trump's was rehearsed. Now let's talk data. Before the shooting, Trump was tanking.
Let's repeat that for a second. Real assassination attempts creates chaos. I remember the moment that incident happened, I was like, why aren't people running? Why did that lady behind Trump duck down, get up, and start filming? Why aren't people looking to see where the shots are coming from? Why aren't people scared? Why are more people filming? Oh, y'all didn't see that? Keep watching.
Or even JFK's. Trump's was rehearsed. Now let's talk data. Before the shooting, Trump was tanking in the polls, especially with independents, coming in at around 40%. But after the shooting, he jumped up over 50%. And in some swing states, he made double-digit gains overnight. That's not coincidence. That's narrative control. He needed a reset, and this gave him the hero arc that he couldn't earn on his own record. Fake attempts like this aren't anything new. In 1933, Hitler staged the Reichstag fire, blamed communists, and used it to seize emergency powers. It worked. In 1999, Putin staged apartment bombings to justify the war in Chechnya, and his approval ratings doubled overnight. Authoritarians manufacture attacks to paint themselves as the victim. It rallies their base, silences critics, and justifies authoritarian control. If Trump were truly a threat to the system, he'd be gone. But he is the system. And this attempt was the performance of a man who's run out of policy and needs mythology. So this wasn't an attack, it was a story written, directed, and starring Donald Trump. Tag someone who still thinks this is real. Let's talk facts, not feelings.
And he invests all his money in depopulating the world. And this all comes out of his mouth. The key thing you can do to reduce population growth is actually improve health. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower them. We're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them into little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, we'll solve all those problems.
You say the next pandemic, there will be another pandemic.
Absolutely. We don't know when.
And people still put this man on a platform. He's playing God. He gets to decide who will live and who won't live. But hey, Bill Gates, isn't he brilliant? Guy, what a good guy. He contributes, he pays off. You know what all sick individuals do? They pay people off. Here, I'm a good guy. Ain't I a good guy? I'll pay for your foundation. Foundations, a lot of times, are big write-offs for billionaires.
2, 1, ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good. X-Thought.
You know, leaving the cameraman behind is pretty savage.
Good order. Roger, you have good fun.
This is a picture of Barack Obama at summer camp, Interlochen summer camp, and directly above him is Jeffrey Epstein. Now, why is that interesting? Because those aren't the only two famous politicians, famous people that went to this summer camp with Barack Obama. These people all grew up together. Okay, there's also Bill Barr, Jim Jordan, and John Podesta. So I find it a little interesting when people say, oh, we live in a free country, you know, we get to pick our presidents, we choose who we want to lead us. Yeah, chances are we don't. I mean, let's dive a little deeper into Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein's wife is Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell's father is Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell owns a printing press called Pergamont Press, which is where, in America, we get all of our school books from, all of our learning from him. So, wow, isn't that just weird? Why are we getting our school books from Mossad agents? All right, we need to start opening our eyes and connecting the dots. These politicians are not here for you. They're here for themselves, and they're here for their mission that they're on. And their mission is not to better you, it's not to make your life better or easier, it's not so that you can become enlightened. They don't care about you, okay? This, ladies and gentlemen, looks a lot like a CIA type picture. You know, all the boys hanging out at the CIA summer camp. I mean, that's just my opinion, but give me a break. These people were friends as children, all right? They all grow up in it. They all grow up together. It's all intertwined, and none of them are here for you. This is why there are two giant fasci as a backdrop for the House of Representatives. Remember that. Maybe look into it. If you want to learn about symbols and about what's really going on in the occult world, which just means hidden and secret, go to my website where everything is for free. I love you all so much in this.
No pizza we didn't love.
They'll name 3 names for your lady parts.
A mini moo for JJ and a pizza.
What?
And a pizza. Mini moo is when you're describing it to a child.
What?
The JJ is like, okay. And a pizza is always something.
What?
Honey, pizza's here.
Pizza?
Story about going and having pizza at the Goonies and that's all in Aniston. George and I would love you to come over for pizza, but how was the pizza? Was it good? What he make it himself?
Pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made, everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Some 5 different kinds. 5 different kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza. And Clooney's was excellent. A mouse was...
Jeremy Corbell told us this would happen. All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. This was 6 months ago. And now what is all over all the headlines? There is a giant craft making its way to Earth. This isn't disclosure, this is the setup. If Corbell is right, we are watching the playbook unfold in real time. The question really is, if the craft is the lie, then what is already here or happening?
First discovered on July 1st near Jupiter, with scientists not knowing where it came from. Eventually, they figured out this object, now named 3I Atlas.
It's only the third time that we've actually detected an object that has come from beyond our solar system.
This might be an interstellar messenger.
Where I describe 8 anomalies about 3I Atlas. And if I wanted to summarize these anomalies, my basic message would be, if you are planning an annual vacation, do it before October 29th.